Right, we'll just give it a few seconds, Gav, before
Yeah.
we start properly. Because I know what happens on YouTube is obviously certain people see it beforehand, but then
Yeah.
other people see it once it's gone live, it just springs up. So we'll just give it a minute or so.
That's cool.
But yeah, while we wait, I'm just going to say hello to everyone that's come in so far. So Tactical Devils, aka Java. Oh, one sec. I'm just going to say that's my other phone. Big up Tactical Devils, aka Jarvis. Hope you're well, brother. Big up Jules Solskar. Hope you're well as well, my friend. Bilal, big up as always. Yeah, so guys, if you can hear me, make sure to subscribe to myself, obviously, and to Gav. His link is in the description. So all you got to do is open the description, click on his link and subscribe. He does daily content. I watched one of your shorts earlier, Gav. You're left-footed, eh?
I am, man. I am. Yeah, that trusted left foot there, man. Yeah.
Mate,
I like to refer to myself as the Black Messi.
Well, I think Man United could do with you, mate, because yeah, we've had a few good left-footers in our time, like Giggs, obviously, and Ahmad now. Yeah. But apart from that, not that many, really, bro.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think obviously you had players like Quinton Fortune back in the day, you know. Obviously he was more of a defensive player. Obviously in recent times, obviously you got like Patrice Evra, obviously another defender. But I think, yeah, in terms of attacking wise, there ain't really been too much, to be honest with you. Yeah, you're probably looking at the likes of I mean, obviously Jesper Blomqvist as well, but he wasn't really someone that was obviously world class or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're lacking at the moment. I think they need to get a lot of balance to that team, if I'm honest.
I think that's one thing that Van Gaal's tried to do when he came here. He tried to get a lot of left-footed players. Yeah. I remember, obviously, Marcus Rojo, the centre-back, left-footer. Daley Blind, left-footer. Di Maria, left-footer.
Oh, yeah, Di Maria, another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else was there. There must have been... obviously, Van Persie. I can forget Van Persie, but
how can we forget that?
RVP obviously was obviously more of a striker. Yeah, I don't think there ain't really been too many when you actually think about it. And I think with someone like Ahmad now, I think Ahmad's probably the outstanding one. Obviously, definitely of recent times that I can think of. And even that, Ahmad's not really at the level that people that know he can kind of get to. You know what I mean? So
that's it.
But yeah, man, I think this Man United team, for me, as we spoke about the other day, is like the thing is, I was lost for words after that transfer window, to be honest, because I didn't expect, you know, United to come out of that window with just one player, you know. And now, the more that I think about it, I think the manager, you know, I've watched a few people saying that the manager would have had an idea of what was going to be happening in January, and again, question marks are now over the manager, because if he knew that, then what's he been doing with this squad the whole time? That's what I would say, you know.
Yeah,
the way he's managed this squad has been shocking. I have to say, you know.
And this is what I was going to first talk about, the January transfer window, because basically the way I see it, right, I know people were clamoring for some signings, but at the end of the day, when you look back now and you look at what was on offer, there really wasn't much, mate. There really wasn't. Tell, I think, was always going to go to Spurs because they owe him buy and owe money for Kane. So they were obviously going to try and push him to Spurs, because remember, they said he rejected them, right? Yeah. Then a few days later, he signs for them. So for me, they're talking behind the scenes and they're saying, look, you know, we need to get him to Spurs. And that's what's happened. And then all you had apart from that was on Nkunku for 70 mil, which I'm not going to spend 70 mil on that. I'm not. I'm sorry, mate. I could get 2 or 3 players for 70 mil. And then the only other one was Felix. And I doubt very much Chelsea would have loaned him out to Man United, mate. I doubt that very much. And how he's gone to Milan instead. So when you look back now, there isn't really that much on offer. I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, the Nkunku one, I think the Nkunku one is more of a case of just trying to get someone in that is better. That's what's in that position already. You know, Nkunku wasn't really my first choice, you know, along with the likes of Leon Bailey. Those two guys weren't my first choice players, but I think the situation that United found themselves in, it was more of a panic signings, I would say, you know. I think definitely my target was like a Mattis Tell. You know, when I heard Mattis Tell was available, I thought, you know, he's the right age profile. Again, he's someone that's actually naturally a striker, but can play from the left. And even that left 10 position does require an actual number 10 to get in between the lines, you know, and create. I think Man United at the moment are starved in that position. Again, letting the likes of a Jadon Sancho, who'd been ideal for that position, when you're letting him go, you're kind of looking at what's available, and that's why I wanted Tell in, not because Tell was ideal for that system. It's just because the lack of options and the lack of quality that's there already, and quite clearly the manager's not going to play Kobe there consistently. So that was my reason for wanting Mattis Tell. The fact that Tell didn't come, and obviously we hear about the loan fee that Tottenham are playing. You know, I think in hindsight you think, yeah, get him in. But if it was like an 8 mil loan fee, I think it is in pounds, then you'd probably say, yeah, Man United can't really be babysitting a player in a sense for what 4 or 5 months left of the season.
Exactly.
And then obviously he's got to decide whether he's gonna stay at the club and go back. And that's the deal that Tottenham have got. But I think the fact that United have left it so late in the window to do deals, and again we obviously heard about the Garnacho wage that he wanted to get from Napoli, that obviously would have stopped United from making probably signings as well in that window. Yeah, it's shocking, man. But yeah, Nkunku, again, he's 27, obviously has been injury prone, but yeah, I would have taken him if it was nothing or him. But the fact that United have got no one, yeah, I just think it's poor, man, from the club as a whole.
I think a part of it though, you got to see the long-term prospect, and basically, for all we know, I know we've spoken about it before. You're not Gyökeres's #1 fan, but there is a big possibility that he comes to United in the summer. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to have a massive relationship with Amorim, so I would make us favourites to sign him in the summer window. And just quickly going back to Garnacho, yeah, you made a point about the salary that he was asking.
Yeah.
Now, I think that proves to me that basically he was the one who wanted to go. Because if he's saying, well, yeah, I'll leave, but I want this salary, it shows you that him and his camp are behind the move. It's not like necessarily Man United are like forcing him out. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that Amorim has been playing him consistently as well, again, proves that point. So to me, people want to spin it on their channel saying, oh, we're trying to get rid of Garnacho, get rid of our academy products. Well, this is a guy who's trying to leave, but he wants more money. So you see what I'm saying?
No, listen, I 100% agree with you. You know, I think, again, I can't believe the discourse over this player. I mean, he has to be possibly Garnacho, one of the most average players I've ever seen playing for this club. And I'd even say in football as a whole, that so many people make excuses for him about his age, you know, what he's done so far, which isn't a lot in my opinion. And again, he's capitalized on a fan base that are just this fan base are in the mud, really. They're suffering because they think Garnacho is some sort of savior, you know. And again, when it comes to youth players, you know, United are desperate to have a youth player coming through the system, regardless of how good they are or not. You know, for me, watching Man United throughout the years, if you're coming through the youth, you've got to be special, you know. And I've seen some top players at United, the likes of Giuseppe Rossi, that got signed from Parma, and Rossi didn't make the first team because, well, Rossi played in the first team, but he didn't go on to have the career that he should have had because of injuries. You know, you look at players like Mason Greenwood, who did come through, who clearly had quality. Angel Gomez, you know, who got moved on and he was quality. And then obviously look at recent times, Rashford, Lingard, Paul Pogba. I mean, what a player Paul Pogba is. And you look at the amount of quality that's come through, and there's other players that, you know, unless you're born, you know, obviously in my era, there's players that were clearly good enough that didn't make first team appearances or they got moved on, and Garnacho is nowhere near that level, you know. So the fact that we have to big up Bella, the fact that we have to constantly keep making excuses for this player is a problem. Now, again, the thing is, because of the hype that he's got from this fan base, and again, the media play a lot into this as well, he now thinks that he can go to Napoli and start asking for astronomical wages. You know, I think their highest paid player at the moment, I think, might be Lukaku. I think I want to say Lukaku's on about what 120, 120, 150. I think even Kvaratskhelia was even on, I think, about 60k at Napoli. So I heard that, you know, Garnacho was asking for like close to 150, you know, and I think, you know, Napoli have every right to just say, nah, listen, you ain't worth that, you know. But it shows as well, you know, if these reports are true, if Napoli would have given him that money, and these people are saying Garnacho, you know, he's one of our own and all that nonsense, if they would have given the money, he would have gone. So, you know, it would have made them look silly, really. But yeah, the fact that he asked for that wage, and the fact that there's so many of these fans that seem to think he's this player, and again, like him playing him playing as a left 10, he don't play left 10. He just plays touchline because his game is a winger. Let's be honest, and he don't suit this system. But yeah, people saying, we got to persevere with him because he's come through the youth. Like, it's madness, you know. So,
we spoke about this on your show, and we sort of more or less agreed that if he was to stay, we prefer him to be like a squad player, comes on last 20 minutes, maybe last half hour, defense is tired, because we both agree that he gets out muscled too much. He's not very strong. Most of the time when he's against a proficient, what's it going to be, right back, he's going to get out muscled. So to me, he's more of a squad player for the moment, because I don't know. I can't predict what he's going to be like in 5 years, Gav. Do you know what I mean? He may get better. I don't know. But for now, to me, he's more of a squad player that should come on in the last sort of minutes of the game. And to be honest with you, he's more dangerous nearer the opposition goal. If he's out on the wing, that's when he's losing the ball constantly, and then they counter-attack us, and that's when it gets frustrating. So I don't mind him staying, but not as the number one winger. I think we need better than that. You know what I mean?
100%, man. I mean, for me, he's if he was to stay at United, he's a Carabao Cup, you know, FA Cup, last 20 minutes sort of player. And again, if you look at football now, football's an athlete's game, and majority of the right backs he's going to be coming up against are not only going to be fairly quick, they're going to be fairly strong as well. And he doesn't really excel in any of them areas. You know, he's not overly quick. He's got like a good burst over a couple of yards, but in terms of his strength is non-existent. You know, he's as weak as piss, let's be honest. So one little barge, the guy's on the floor. And you know, for me, like I'm not hiding my my opinion on him. You know, I like, again, Man United should be a club where the best come and play. You know, not like some second-rate club where, you know, if you're not really good, we'll kind of give you a chance to kind of be good. You know, I've never seen Man United like that. And with someone like Garnacho, again, he's someone that you know, he will keep going, he'll keep running all day, but that's about it. Like, he hasn't got any consistent quality. In this system, he's more suited to a wing-back role, you know, because that wing-back role requires you to have energy and run up and down, which is what he kind of does now. But for sure, man, United need to get better in that position. And again, because of the hype that he's got for some reason in the game now, Man United should just cash in on him and go and get better quality. And the fact that Amrin wants to play this system of 3-4-3, he clearly doesn't fit into the system. So, yeah, man, he just needs to be moved on.
Do you think he'll go in the summer?
Man. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. Like it's just frustrating listening to having to watch this guy play every week. Is considering, you know, what kind of players have been there from the past. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's mad.
One thing that, well, there's a similarity between Garnacho, Rashford, and Bruno, and to me, what it is that they give the ball away way too much, and then we get counter-attacked. And specifically in the system that Amorim uses, where he doesn't play with two holding midfielders, we just get run through the midfield, and we make it easy for all teams to score 2-3 goals against us. So Rashford's obviously gone. Garnacho's still here. Bruno's still here. So while Garnacho and Bruno are still here, we're going to lose possession a lot, and we're going to still concede a lot of goals. And one thing that does concern me about Amorim is his loyalty to Bruno and Dalot. Now, apart from the goal that Dalot scored the other day, he's been crap all season. Now, people will say, well, it's because he's out of position, he's playing on the left. All right, well, what we'll do is we'll see now that we got Dorgu. Dorgu will play on the left, and then probably Dalot will play on the right, and I expect to see Dalot improve. And if he doesn't, again, he could be a squad player, but he should not be the number one right back because he does not offer enough. What do you think about Dalot?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's quite simple for me with Dalot. You know, I was a big fan of Dalot, especially last season. I think he was arguably United's best player last season. You know, the problem Dalot has now is that it's a different system, and where he's more suited to play in this team is quite clearly as a right-sided centre-back, you know, because defensively in that position, I think he'll offer a lot. You know, I think he can bring the ball out as well. You know, he's got good pace, he's got good strength. So I think in that position, he can cover the wide areas very good, which is what United need, especially from players playing in those positions on the left and the right. In this wing-back role, and again, this is what is making me confused with Amorim, you know. And again, I'm a big fan of Amorim, but some of the things he's been doing as of late is unforgivable in my opinion, and needs to be called out. So him when he was at Sporting, yeah, anyone that watched Sporting would know that he played with two wingers as the wing backs, or he'll play with a winger on the right and then play with like an attacking left back. So on the right hand side, he had Quenda and he had Francisco Trincao or Marcus Edwards. Yeah. So if you look at the United team that he has, with the same sort of profiles, you're looking at Anthony and Ahmad. So Anthony would play right wing back, Ahmad would play as the 10, or you could mix and match both of them. But I'd prefer to see Ahmad in the 10 and Anthony at right wing back. The fact that he consistently plays Dalot and even Mazraoui, yeah, again, you're playing two fullbacks, wing backs, when you know that this system requires attackers, you know, because again, having an Ahmad or an Anthony as a wing back, the intention is different, you know, because their intention is to attack, whereas Dalot and Mazraoui are both defenders. So naturally, you're going to be losing something, you know, and this is something that's confused me with Amorim when he started doing this, because I thought when he came into United, you know, you're going to see I thought you're going to see more footballers playing at first, you know, which is again something that's shocked me. But the thing is, the fact that he keeps persisting with this Dalot and Mazraoui, you're just setting the team up to be defensive by automatically, you know what I mean? Because again, they're both defensive players. So the fact that he didn't even give Anthony a chance really, and then now Anthony's gone out on loan to Real Betis, and you're still playing the likes of Dalot and Mazraoui where they are. You know, I'm not Garnacho's biggest fan, but if you want to have a bit more of an attacking force, play Ahmad and Garnacho as the wing backs.
Yep.
And then play 2 inside 10s, play Kobe as a left 10, and then play like a Christian Eriksen.
Yep.
And then play Xerxes. But he's not even doing that. And the lineup he done against Palace, I have to be honest, like that's a sackable offense for me personally. You know, it has to be because that was sabotage. I don't understand why you're going to set up with 2 defensive wing backs and then play Kobe, who you've been playing as a 6 or an 8, to play as a false 9. To me, that was a sign to that was him saying to the board, you know, I need a striker. But the problem he has, and again, I'm a big fan of Amorim. You have to work with these players till the end of the season. You didn't get anyone in January, so you've now sabotaged really the team, and you're now going to create friction with some of the players there now. Because if I'll be honest with you, if I'm especially Joshua Xerxes, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking this is a joke because Rasmus Højlund's had game after game. You know, Xerxes not really getting no games in a row, really. And to make matters worse, you play a midfielder who's not even to play him as a false 9, you know, who really has been playing as a number 6 or number 8, played once as a number 10 against Steaua Bucharest, and you have to cheat to play him against Palace at home, as a false 9. So, it's amazing, man. It's bad.
Basically, when I've been saying this all week, that regardless of any transfers that come in or didn't come in, he has not helped himself with the way that he set up the team, right? Like you said, playing with no striker, really just stupid decision. And people have said to me, like we just mentioned, oh, that was a sign to the board to get him strikers. Look, it doesn't work like that. You don't just like throw your toys out the pram and like do a protest and then magically someone's going to buy you a striker. Life is not like that. What you do is you look at what you've got and you pick the best team to win that game, and he did not do that. So I'm like you said, the word sabotage. That's what he did, right? And this is what Ten Hag was doing towards the end of his tenure. He was doing stupid things, and I look back and I'm like, are you doing this so that you get sacked? Do you see what I'm saying? Because there's no logic behind it, right? Putting Manu up front, he's not the strongest kid in the world, is he? Right? He's not going to hold the ball up and bring others into play. Højlund can't even do that, and he's double the size of him. Xerxes can do that. So, like you said, play Xerxes. There's no way that you should not be playing him. And again, going back to your original point about the wing backs, even if you don't want to play Anthony on the right wing back, put him on the left wing back. He's left-footed. You don't have to invert. Play him as a left wing back, bruv. Do you see what I'm saying? Anything is better than putting Delo on the left on his weaker foot, where whenever he wants to cross it, he has to cut inside. It's just no logic behind it, mate. And it's very frustrating. And then when people come to me and say, oh, Ineos let Amorim down. No, Amorim is letting Man United down right now.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I agree, bro. Amorim for me, he only has himself to blame because, I mean, if he like he had to have known that this window he wasn't getting much. So the fact that he's let even Rashford, even Rashford going was good, but you can't let Rashford go for me if you're not going to replace him. Because I was all good for Rashford going if he was going to get replaced. That's why I thought Mattis Tell was coming in. But the fact that Rashford's gone out, Anthony have gone out, and whether people like them or not, they are 2 options. And Man United's attacking force right now of what's available, I'll go as far as saying as a probably a quartet, probably the weakest in the league as a quartet. At big Man United, you know.
And the thing is, right? Again, people will spin it saying that Ineos or Man United have sent Rashford packing, have sent Anthony packing. Listen, the manager would have said to Ineos, they are not part of my plans, so you can get rid of them. He would have told him that, because otherwise he would come out in the media and say, I want him to stay. I want him to stay. But he let them go. And instead of trying to put Anthony in different places like right wing back or left wing back, he didn't bother. He just put him on loan. And thank God that we've got better negotiators now who are able to manage to get him on loan and pay 80% of his bloody wages, because the Glaziers would not do that. Trust me on that, right? And then coming back to Rashford, right? Did you ever see that clip that was on Twitter that went viral of him, like, basically defending in inverted commas, but like jogging, basically just jogging around the player like he just didn't give a shit? Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
that is not acceptable. So if I'm hammering him, I'm saying, look, Rashford, right? I never want to see you do that again. All right, because basically you're setting a bad example. You're on X amount of £1,000 a week. You're setting a bad example for the youngsters. If you want to be in this team, you do not do that. You do the opposite, and then I'm more than happy for you to play here. But there's no management there, and now he's just gone. And like you said, it leaves us with less attackers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I understand, man. Let me just answer the question quickly from Bilal. Big up, Bilal. Would I play Aiden Heaven tomorrow? I would. And I'll tell you why. I believe the game's at Old Trafford. Is that Old Trafford, the game tomorrow? Yeah. So, I mean, obviously at home, you know, obviously crowd will get behind him. I think FA Cup, I'll give him a chance to play, because, again, for me, United are expected to beat Leicester, especially being at home. And for me, especially, I think with the three at the back, you need defenders that are, one, good on the ball, and two, good in wide areas. And I think the kind of stature and the profile of what Heaven is, I know, again, he's inexperienced, but I will play him tomorrow for sure. Get some experience alongside him. So, if you want to play Harry Maguire in the middle to have experience, and then play De Ligt, or if you want to play De Ligt there and then play Lenny Yoro, I would do it. I would give him a chance, because I think you're never going to know someone's ready until you play them. Give him 45 minutes. And if he's struggling, then obviously you might make a change. But yeah, for me, for sure, I'll definitely give him a game tomorrow. I think FA Cup, at home, crowd behind him, which they will be. Yeah, I'll let him play tomorrow. But I think the problem with Amorim, you never know what team he's going to play. So yeah, we can't bank on anything really at the moment. So yeah, but I'll definitely play him. But yeah, no, just going back to the Rashford thing, what you said.
Yeah.
For me, I don't particularly blame Rashford, if I'm honest. I blame Manchester United, because Rashford was never meant to be the player that a lot of these fans and the media tried to gas up, because this all stems from Anthony Martial, who was one of my favorite players at United. Because what happened is that, if you're comparing the two players, Martial was by far the better player, but the media wanted to make it, and the fan base wanted to make it, a Martial versus Rashford, but forgetting that both of them actually played well together, because Martial is an unselfish player, and obviously Rashford is, you say he's more selfish, but because Martial was so unselfish, it worked well with both of them. And if you ask both of them, they will both say, we enjoy playing together with each other, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So, but what's happened now with Rashford is that, and I've been saying this for years. People, before I even had a channel, people that know me would know that what I'm going to say, really. So the reason Rashford has been getting away with murder, really, is because the likes of Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial were made scapegoats for Rashford, because Rashford's from Manchester, obviously from Wivenshaw, and Martial and Pogba are both obviously black and French. They were made the scapegoats for Rashford. So Rashford was getting away with it for years. The thing is now, because this fan base are trying to push through Garnacho, Rashford has now become the scapegoat, because when Martial and Pogba went, Sancho came in. Again, Sancho was the scapegoat for Rashford, because Sancho, from London, You know, they obviously didn't like his, they say he's got an attitude problem, this and that, and even the thing with Ten Hag. And now Sancho's gone. In a sense, Rashford's got no one to lean on because he's basically by himself now. And obviously, I know Ahmad's there, but Ahmad is younger than Rashford, and Ahmad is more. They look at him as more humble, you know what I mean? And he's kind of like the new kid on the block in a sense. But again, Rashford, because they're trying to push through Garnacho, it's like it's now acceptable now to be putting it on Rashford. But Rashford was never that level of player that they tried to make him out to be in the first place. It's only come about because of the Martial thing. And obviously Rashford, you know, I think he's had, 2 decent seasons, I would say. Obviously he got the big contract. And obviously he's shown his level, you know, and his level isn't what they thought it was. You know, there was comparisons with Mbappe at one time, which again is mad. So yeah, which is mad. But Rashford, I don't particularly blame him. He's just capitalized on what Manchester United have made him out to be, and that's a world superstar. But his football ability is nowhere near that, and that's the truth. So when he's walking around and he's doing all the things and doing all the other things, can I really blame him? No, because he's had everything given to him on a plate, really, at Man United. Let's be honest. And then I think the one thing I can probably say about Amorim is that at least Amorim's probably the first manager that's came in and has actually removed him. You know what I mean? Whether it's right or not. But my main concern is that if you're going to remove a player on that amount of money like Rashford, as well as Anthony, and you don't bring no one in, you're now open up for criticism because you would have known this, you know. And again, that strike force that United have, with me personally, there's only 2 that's good enough, and that's Ahmad and Xerxes. To go with Garnacho and Højlund, again, is arguably the worst in the league. I can't think of a worse 4 than that. That's how bad it is, really, you know.
I think I'm not going to judge those 4 until we have decent wing backs, because the wing backs, if they play like they should do, they should be crossing the ball in. They should be doing cutbacks. They should even be scoring goals. Like that goal that Delors scored the other day, he should be in that area all the time. If the ball's on the other side, he should be there on the opposite side waiting for a tap-in. Do you see what I'm saying? The wing backs, like loads of people have said ages ago, they're probably the most important players on the whole field, because yes, they're going to defend, but they are really the main attackers, because they're going to be right on the width trying to cross it in for the strikers. And let's be honest, the last 2 years we're shit at giving our strikers service. I mean, as far as I'm aware, because I looked into this, Højlund has only ever been assisted by Bruno twice. And this is Bruno, the master chance creator.
Yeah, it's a lie.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree, man. I agree. I mean, who do you blame there? Do you blame Bruno? Because obviously Mr. Creator, which is a complete lie, or do you blame Højlund's lack of movement? You know,
it's a bit of both, isn't it? Obviously, but
the easy answer is, like if Man United was serious, neither one of them will be in a team. Like, this is the problem. I've been saying this for time. Any manager that comes in, and this is why for me, Amorim at the moment for me is just a slightly better version of Ten Hag, if I'm being deadly honest, because he's not really doing anything different, really. I mean, I know obviously the formation, but in terms of the team selection, he isn't doing anything much different to what Ten Hag is doing. Bruno Fernandes still plays. Garnacho's now found his way back in the team. He was playing Højlund consistently. You know, when you're playing at home and you're playing against a team that you should be beating, Ugarte doesn't play for me because he ain't good enough on the ball. You know, there's so many. I mean, Harry Maguire's now found his way back into the lineup. You know what I mean? There's so many problems within this team And I thought Amorim coming in, you know, he would make significant changes, but he's just doing the same thing, just in a different formation to what Ten Hag is doing. If I'm honest, you know.
No, I agree, because if you think about it, he is doing exactly what Ten Hag was doing. He's overplaying Delo, he's overplaying Bruno. Possibly you could say he's overplaying Garnacho, which is what Ten Hag did. And we've got on our bench, we've got someone who's won the Champions League numerous times. One of the best holding midfielders the world's ever seen, who before Amorim came was scoring braces versus Leicester. And I'm obviously talking about Casemiro, and he doesn't barely get a look in. Now, I understand he's not the future because he's getting on, but you cannot tell me that he can't provide some kind of worth to this team. He's a good passer. He can score. He can head the ball in. He can head the ball away. He can tackle, but he's been frozen out. And again, it's another thing that just looks like sabotage. Just like Anthony's got no time, Casemiro's got no time. So when we go back to what we said previously, which is he's not making the most of what he has. Do you see what I mean?
100%, yeah. No, you're right, man. Yeah, he's only got himself to blame, man. Like, it's as simple as that, man. Yeah, it's just frustrating to see. And again, with Casemiro, I mean, first things first, the guy's a leader, and this team lacks leaders. You know, and if you look at the makeup of United's midfield, especially with like a Casemiro and an Eriksen, they're two guys that are not the most mobile guys in the world. Yeah. So I know you want to play your system, but you have to adapt to the players you have. You don't just go and play a system where you're going to do whatever's required because it's just the way you play. Casemiro has never been someone that just presses all over the pitch. He's never been that. I get it. Ugarte wants to do that, but Casemiro isn't that type of player. Christian Eriksen isn't that type of player. So why he's persisting with this without having the players that he keeps saying doesn't make any sense to me, you know. And again, you got someone like Casemiro who I don't care what anyone says, he will offer something to this team.
Yeah, of course.
You know? And the fact that he's just sitting on the bench doing nothing. And again, I blame Amorim for this because Amorim would have known what was going to happen in January. So the best that he can do, because United need to get results, is use what you've got until the summer. Or better yet, don't come to the club in the first place. You know what I mean? But the fact that he's not playing Casemiro, didn't use Anthony, obviously he's got rid of Rashford. Malacia going as well is ridiculous because Man United don't have too many left footers in that squad as it is anyway. You know, and I know Dorgu's coming, but say Dorgu gets injured, you know, then what? You got the square one. It don't make any sense. And and as well, I believe Malacia could have played left side centre back as well. You know, I think he could do a job, quick in the wide areas, very tenacious. But all these players have now left. So Man United are an Amad Diallo injury away. Yeah, from this being a capitulation. Because if Amad gets injured, not only do you have no one that's left-footed to play on that side, unless you go and bring in a youth player, you're also getting rid of your most effective and dangerous player. So if he gets injured, which again, he's playing every week, you know, he could get burnt out.
Yeah.
If he gets injured, I don't know what's going to happen to this team because as bad as not bad, but as not to the level he's been playing as of late, he's still United's most dangerous player. You know, and again, it's confusing. Like I dread to think because I honestly think with what this team is now, with no significant signings apart from Dorgu, I don't see United getting into the top half for sure. I think they'll finish in the bottom half. Purely because I don't see too many players. And again, he's picking the wrong team because if I'm United manager now, the team that I'm picking, you know, I'm picking, and I'm going with it to the end of the season to get some continuity and confidence.
Yeah.
Onana in goal, a back three of Euro, De Ligt, and left side will be Mazraoui. I know, like I prefer left-footed left centre back, but Mazraoui for me has to play as one of the defenders at the back. So I'll play Euro, De Ligt, Mazraoui. The two wing backs, I would play. I think it's going to have to be Ahmad because there's no one else now. Patrick Dorgu as a left wing back.
Yeah.
The two in midfield, I'd play me personally, Ugarte and Casemiro.
Yeah.
The two tens, I'd play Kobe from the left, Christian Eriksen, and then Joshua Zirkzee as a striker. I will go with that team personally because the likes of Bruno Fernandes needs to know that he can't be just playing how he wants and thinks he can play every week. And again, every manager keeps doing this and wondering why they're getting the same results.
Yeah.
You know, and again, Bruno isn't the only problem, but the fact that no manager, and I know people will start saying, you know, you take Bruno out, there's no leaders in the team. Casemiro's a leader. You know, you will the Ligt's a leader. You will create leaders, by removing the so-called leader.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that because at the end of the day, you can call him a leader, but he's been sent off 3 times already, right? And
exactly.
what he the times that he's done it has just been stupidity. It's not like he was unlucky. He was already on yellow cards for some of them, and he just does the stupidest thing, and then leaves us a man down for the rest of the game. Yeah. So to me, that isn't a leader. To me, that is someone with a massive ego who can't keep his temper in balance, bruv. And to me, he's not a leader. He's not like you said, he's not the only problem, but he is a problem. Because I remember maybe this time last year, everyone was saying Bruno, Rashford, they are the problems. Well, Rashford's gone now, so you won't be able to blame him anymore. You see what I'm saying? And what worries me is who can we buy or bring in to replace Bruno? Because I don't know. I honestly don't know. We can't get Musiala. We can't get Wirtz. They're going to go to either Bayern. Wirtz is going to go to Bayern. Musiala might go to Madrid or Barca. I don't think we're getting those two. So who else can replace Bruno in the future?
So, well, for me, there's been 2 players that I have wanted for a while. Yeah. Obviously, the system's obviously is a 3-4-3 system, so obviously you're looking at left and right tens. But for me, the 2 players that should have replaced him. One of them you just mentioned, Florian Wirtz, one of my favorite players in football today. Again, he's a Barcelona player. You know, he's a Barcelona type player. And again, he's going to be very difficult to get, especially without Champions League. Yeah. But if United obviously had ambition and were doing better than they are, he'd definitely be the main target for me as a 10. But why United haven't gone and got Eze, you know, is beyond me, because I think Eze for me at the moment would be ideal for this team. Someone that makes something happen. He'll be perfect in this left 10 at the moment as well. I know. Obviously, Eze isn't as clinical as some of the other number 10s. Because one thing I like about Florian Wirtz is that Florian Wirtz is clinical when he's in front of goal. Yeah, I think Eze is a bit hit and miss. But what Eze would add to this team, you know, he can run with the ball, he can shoot, he's strong, he can pass, he's good off set pieces as well. Yeah, you know, he's good in transition. So for me, he ticks all the boxes. And why United haven't gone for someone like him, and again, this what pisses me off as well is that United had the cheek to go. Well, Ten Hag had the cheek, should I say, to go for a Mason Mount and spent close to 60 million on him. Yeah, when that could have been the fee to go and get Eze. And as you can see, Mason Mount has spent half his time injured. You know what I mean? Like some of the decisions that's been made, is criminal. Like, let's be honest, you know. But yeah, for me, Verts and Eze again. Matthias Cunha in this system would be amazing as well.
True that, yeah.
He's going to cost about 60 mil. So the thing is, there are players, but I just don't know who United are targeting, because I mean the one target that they have, well, more or less I think was it David Ornstein has confirmed, is Quenda, and I think Quenda will be ideal for this system, because for me, having Quenda and Ahmad, you know, I like Tyler Dibbling as well, but I think Quenda will know this system. And again, this all depends if Amorim is still going to be there, because if I dread to think what happens if United sit down that table and they're at Europa, if they'll even keep Amorim. So I'm just saying, if Amorim does stay, Quenda will be perfect for this team, because he knows the system. And obviously him and Ahmad on that right-hand side, as well as having like a Lenny Yoro. I think the future on that side of the pitch would look exciting.
Yeah, true.
But in terms of other signings, I mean, people talk about Gyökeres. I'll be honest, I don't really want Gyökeres, if I'm honest. I think the type of striker United need, and again, there ain't really any strikers out there. That's why I wanted someone like John Duran, because I think John Duran would have been ideal, because he's someone that ticks a lot of the boxes. But again, yeah, Gyökeres isn't my first choice. So yeah, Man United are in a lot of trouble, man. Because I don't know. I mean, I think I said to you last week, in midfield, Carlos Baleba is ideal for this system. Yeah, you know, he's good in possession. He presses. You know what I mean? He's good. He's very press resistant as well. And he'll be ideal age profile as well. I think he's only 20, 21. He'd be he's someone that United have to target in the summer. Again, he's going to cost he's going to cost a lot of money. So again, I don't really know who Amorim's targets are. Is the money there? Like, who knows, man? I think this club at the moment, they're in dark times, man. So we have to wait and see, because I can only see it getting worse.
I mean, to put it on a positive from what you just said, I agree with what you're saying about Baleba, because I remember the first time I saw him play for Brighton, I thought, this is the player.
Yeah,
he's got everything. He can dribble, he can tackle, he can shoot, he can pass, right? All round midfielder.
Yeah.
But instead of going to Brighton and having to pay 50, 60, we need to buy him before he goes to Brighton, when he's going to be 10, 15, 20 mil. And I think that's what Ineos are doing when they get people like Pedro Leon from Paraguay.
Yeah.
I've got faith that from now on, they are going to target these players that are not necessarily world stars, but can become world stars. Because right at the start, Sir Jim said, we don't want to buy Mbappe, we want to buy the next Mbappe. So you buy someone who's got that potential to become a world star. So I do have faith that gradually we are going to start doing that. But at the moment, because of the idiots that we've had here before, Glazers, Murto, Arnold, Woodward, who have just bought Galacticos, and most of them haven't worked out. That's why we're in the problems we are. But I do see a positive in the way that we're scouting lesser-known players, bringing them in for little money. Look, at the end of the day, right, I guarantee you now, Glazers would not buy Obi Martin or Heaven from Arsenal. I guarantee you they would not have done that. That is an Ineos thing, mate. So they deserve a lot of credit for doing that, because Glazers would not even go anywhere near them, mate. They wouldn't even think about it, you know?
I agree. I mean, again, people have a lot of criticism of Ineos. You know, I still think that, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm done with Ineos, to be honest with you. I think it's still a bit too early for that, in my opinion. But for sure, this window has been a shambles, you know, and that's one thing that I am looking at. And again, I keep going back to it. This squad that's been left after January, I fear for it. I'll be honest with you, because there's a lack of quality in this squad as a whole. and you've let three. You've let three players go out and replaced it with one player, who again I do think has a lot of potential, but who's to say he might get injured or or he might struggle? You just don't know. So Ineos have to look at that really and think, like they should have given the manager more. But yeah, no, I do think the unknown signings is a way that Ineos are going. And again, someone like Jason Wilcox as well, which is a very good signing from the club as well. He knows the youth market, so Tyler Dibling, like if he can get Tyler Dibling in, I mean, what a player he is. But I want to ask you actually. So if you had a choice of one player to sign, who would you be going for?
So what, in the summer where there's no sort of, he can buy whoever he wants basically because there's money kind of thing?
Yeah, if they've like a realistic signing, who would you say would be ideal for this team? The money's there.
That's a hard question because me personally, I think that the level of quality of players overall has gone down a lot since when I
you know what? That's why I asked you the question.
Yeah, it's hard, mate.
Because you just said it. The level of player is not there, and even if the level of player is there, who's to say they're going to come to United, and who's to say they're not going to have to pay mad money? So this is why I think Man United at the moment in time, they're in a very difficult situation because the money's tight, the level of player ain't there, and again, letting go of Jadon Sancho, again for me is another sackable offence because you let the guy go for 25 million to a rival, and knowing if you're going to bring Amorim in, and he'd been ideal for this left hand, like that decision there. And again, obviously we hear is Dan Ashworth, and that's part of the reason why he had to go. I just don't understand how the hell you can make that decision, because you would have known that you're looking at Amorim and the system that Amorim plays, and everyone knows this system requires number 10s. Jadon Sancho he's like a number 10 wide man. You know what I mean? The same with Amad Diallo, they're number 10 wide men. Garnacho is a winger. He doesn't fit this system, and that's deal to let Sancho go for what 25 million again is just poor. You know what I mean? And then if you want to go and get someone who's an actual number 10 now, you're looking at paying ridiculous money, and the thing's all over the place, man. It's just mad. It's just mad.
I think one player I would bring in is who you mentioned earlier, is Cunha. And if you remember when we played against Wolves at the end of the game, I remember Amorim going up to him and having like a sort of a chat with him, and I pretty much would guarantee he would be saying something like, "Look, I'd love you to come to United. I think you're a great player. So I'll keep my eye on you." That obviously he speaks Portuguese just like Amorim, and if you were to say to me, "Get rid of Bruno and bring Cunha in," I'd say, "Yeah, I'm all over that," because the difference in strength between Cunha and Bruno is night and day. Cunha can turn on a sixpence. He can receive the ball and turn in one movement, and he's away. He's got a good shot on him. So he, to me, is definitely a great replacement for Bruno. And you said the release clause is what, 60 odd?
I think he signed a new contract, and I think his release clause might be something close to 60 million. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit on the expensive side, but nowadays, I don't know. That's how it is, isn't it? But he'd be one I would definitely get. I think Quenda is a no-brainer as well because he's worked with the manager, and for someone so young, he's got so much skill. It just makes sense. He will be the missing part on the right-hand side to make that right-hand side just dangerous. I saw him score a goal on Twitter, and he just literally dribbles around like half the team. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of player we need. We need a player who scares the opposition, because right now I don't think we've got any players that scare the opposition, mate. And if you think about back in the day when you had Giggs, Beckham, Cantona, you know what I'm saying? these players, you'd be scared of what they're going to do to you. They're going to humiliate me. They're going to score a wonder goal, and it's going to be repeated for 10 years, and I'm going to be on it, falling to the floor trying to defend it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree. I think someone like Quenda, for instance, he's a generational talent for me. I think for sure he, if he leaves Sporting, he's going to go to a big club if it's not United. So United just need to. I think the fact that Amarim's there, that should be enough to convince Quenda to come. And as I said, he's a must signing for me. In terms of Cunha, the reason I think Cunha will be a good signing, regardless of his talent, Man United need players of personality. And if you look at the way Quenda is, he's got a massive personality, and United don't have too much of that in their team. And as you mentioned, he'd be a massive upgrade on the likes of Bruno Fernandes, and Garnacho in that position. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for me, man. Again, if it was between him, Florian Wirtz and Eze, I'd probably have him at number 3, probably, if I'm honest. Because I think,
what order would it be then? What order would it be at?
So my order would be Wirtz, Eze, and Cunha. And the reason Wirtz for me is number 10 is because in my team, if you've got 2 athletes on that left-hand side, I think I mentioned this to you, in terms of that side dominating the pitch.
Yeah.
If you've got a number 10 whose job is to purely just create, there ain't no better creator for me at the moment in that number 10 than Florian Wirtz, because Wirtz creates and scores goals. And I think he'd be ideal, because that's why I was saying, if United had a Nuno Mendes as a left side centre back and an Alphonso Davies as a left wing back, obviously Davies signed a new contract and have to wait and see with Nuno Mendes. Having like a Florian Wirtz as a left side 10, I mean, he would cause so much problems. But I think having like a young Dorgu there, and again, we've got to see how Dorgu goes. Having Eze, who can offer that that physical strength as well, and the running with the ball would be ideal. But again, it's nothing in it between Eze and Cunha. I mean, you can have either or really, but number 1 for sure for me would be Florian Wirtz. But
I think the Portuguese speaking connection just swings it Cunha to me.
Yeah,
and yeah. I know what you're saying about we should have been interested in Eze, but I think the fact that they lost
Elise,
to Bayern, they were never going to sell him that soon after selling him. So there's always going to be a gap, because Crystal Palace do sell their best players, but they try not to do it all in one sort of, one go. But going back to this 4 attackers, right?
Yeah. As Bilal said, man, look, Rooney, CR7, Tevez, Sarr.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Those first 3, Rooney, Ronaldo, and Tevez, they were insane, because they scored so many goals between them that season. And if one didn't score, the other was going to score. So that's what I mean about scaring the opposition. But yeah, going back to the 4 attackers that we mentioned, right? Now you have to bring in Obi Martin, mate. I don't care how old he is. I don't care. Rooney scored his first Premier League goal at the age of 16. I'm not comparing them, but I'm just saying that sometimes age doesn't matter. Yeah. And Obi Martin is very confident right now, because for the last, 2 or 3 years, he's just been scoring goal after goal after goal after goal. We don't have that confidence in any of our strikers. So what is it does no harm to bring him in 10 minutes for the last 10 minutes of a game, see what he can do. For all we know, he can do what Martial did. He can come on as a sub and just score a goal. And from then on, you see what I mean? So I would bring him in. And I think if he doesn't, again, it's sabotage, because he needs something to lift his team. And a young striker scoring goals, that will lift a whole team and the whole club and the fan base, mate.
Yeah, I think what it is, I think a lot of people will say bringing in Obi Martin, because United not playing too well, bringing in a young striker into that environment won't be good. But I disagree. I think it could work in a different direction for him, because he might come in, you know, score a couple of goals and then be the savior in a sense, you know. And for me, the only way you're going to find out if a player's ready or not is by playing them. Like all this nonsense about bringing him into a negative environment and this and that. It's football. Just play him and see how he gets on. If he plays and doesn't really give a good account of himself, then put him back in the 23s, let him learn his trade, you know, and then give him a few sub appearances, let him feel his way into the team. But I think the stage that United at the moment, again, for me, why Xerxes isn't being given the same allowances that Rasmus had, for me is a joke. But yeah, I mean, if he's not going to play Xerxes and Højlund, like, don't play Kobe Manu there. You know what I mean? Yeah, play Obi Martin if that's the case.
True.
You know what I mean? But
really, mate.
Listen, when he done that, because I remember when I asked you about the team, I didn't see the team news, and you showed me the team. I thought you was joking. I thought he can't be doing that, especially at home. You know, and for me that was unacceptable. You know, he needs to be under pressure now for sure. You know, and it's not a Amorim needs to be sacked. It's just every game now we're going to be looking at him and seeing what he's doing, because that decision there has put him under the scrutiny, along with the other players that he's let go now and hasn't replaced, and he would have known that as well. So
and I keep saying it, and I've probably said it to you. When Xerxes and Rashford both scored braces versus Everton, the next game they both got dropped.
Yeah.
And someone said to me today, "Oh, it's rotation, mate. You don't rotate your strikers when they're scoring.
Yeah, when they're good form.
You keep them on form, mate. Then maybe when they stop scoring, you rotate. But if they're scoring, you keep them on that run of scoring. And to do that is ridiculous. To just drop both of them after they both score a brace. Can you imagine how they feel? Imagine you playing for your team. You score a brace. The next game, you're not even playing.
Yeah, your confidence will be hitting it. Yeah,
it's a joke, man. And I don't want to feel like this about our new manager. He's only just got here, but when you're doing stupid things like this, it pisses me off, because Ruud van Nistelrooy played the team that I would have played. If you would say to me, "What team do you want to play?" Every time Ruud was picking the same team that I would have picked. So explain to me why Ruud can do it, but Amorim can't do it.
Bro, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, and it's very obvious why it is. Amorim's got this tag behind him that he's this young manager, you know, young Portuguese manager, and he's thriving off of that because the likes of Liverpool, Man City, and that were interested in him. He's hot property, you know what I mean? So what he's doing, he's doing things his way, and because a lot of this fan base are just in love with him, you know, he can't do any wrong. He's just taking the piss. That's basically what he's doing. The reality is, he's a good coach, yeah, but you have to work with what you've got. You know, not every manager is going to get their players, but you've got to work with the best that you've got. And the fact that he can come to United, I think he's lost 5 games out of the last 7. You know, he's doing worse than Ten Hag, which is unbelievable. You know, and Ten Hag needed to go last season. So the fact that he's come in and he's just not adapted. I mean, he hasn't got to adapt his formation, but he has to adapt to some of the players that he's got, because he hasn't got his players. Because at the end of the day, football is a results business, and we all know that you want to play your system, but if the players are not good enough to what you're doing and you're just losing games, like, where do you think this is going to end? You're going to get sacked. It ain't good enough. You know what I mean? So for me, he's only got himself to blame, because the fact that he didn't use Anthony is a massive question mark for me, because Anthony was closest to what you had at Sporting Lisbon with the likes of Quenda. And then you don't use Anthony, so then what now? The only closest player you've got to a Quenda is Ahmad. So Ahmad, for me, I don't want to see Ahmad in the wingback role, but if we're being serious, Ahmad has to play there because needs a must. You know what I mean?
Like you said, right? As you said about Manasseh leaving.
Yeah.
So before this window, we had, correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, Ahmad, Malacia, left footers. Now we've only got one left footer.
Yeah.
One.
Well, obviously, Luke Shaw, but are we really counting him?
No, I'm not counting him. I'm not.
Yeah.
If he plays, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went from 3 left footers to 1. So straight away, the balance is just ridiculous. It's just, and I'm not saying that Malacia is your number 1 wing back. Obviously, Dorgu is. That's why he's come in. But like you said, if he gets injured now, there's no cover. So just keep Malacia there as cover. It's not like we needed the money that we're going to get from him, which is going to be pittance. Yeah. So to me, that's just stupid to get rid of 2 left footers and now we've only got 1. I don't get it.
The thing is, I think the Malacia thing, it has to have something to do with the Rashford thing, because obviously we know Rashford and Malacia are good friends, but I mean, because getting rid of Malacia made no sense, because you've lost Martinez, Luke Shaw again, he can't rely on him, which leaves just Dorgu as a left footer. And then obviously Aiden Heaven, who's inexperienced. So it has to be bigger than that. And if it's nothing to do with Rashford, let's say, the fact that he gets rid of Malacia makes no sense. It actually makes no sense, because really and truly, like, and you don't want to wish injury on anyone, but if he decided to get rid of Malacia and you say Dorgu gets injured, yeah, you're going back to square one again, because we already know that Mazraoui and Dallo, they can't play that position.
No,
they can't, because they're not natural. They're not left-footed, and you need someone that is naturally to give balance. And you've let go of someone that was left-footed, as you said, even if he wasn't first choice. But there's going to be times he's going to be needed, and now that option's gone, and you didn't even replace that either. So yeah, why he done that, I just don't know, man. But
so
yeah, it's confusing.
I got a question for you, right? So out of all the players in our entire squad, are there any that you think that are untouchable? And what I mean by that is, if the right price in your mind came from any club for any of these players, would you say, no, I don't want to sell you?
For me, the one untouchable, I would say, it has to be Ahmad, and I'll tell you why. Because I think the age profile of Ahmad, I'm looking at possibly 2 players of that age, and you're not going to, and well, I say 2. I'll probably say 1 actually, and this is the level that I hold Ahmad at, because Ahmad's a great footballer for me. The only player I would say of the age, sort of similar age profile, that is better than Ahmad is probably Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, true.
You know, because that's the quality Ahmad has. And again, Ahmad, I'm not saying Ahmad is at Lamine Yamal's level yet, because Lamine Yamal is a freak footballer. You know what I mean? But Ahmad's playing in a struggling team, and he still shows moments of quality. He just needs better players around him. Now, again, in this system, again, Quenda, I'm having, he's obviously 17, same age as Lamine Yamal, but obviously will play more as the wing back, I'd think. So if I'm looking at Ahmad as a right 10, left-footed, inverted, the only player I'm taking over Ahmad is probably Lamine Yamal in that position. So he'll be my untouchable, because I don't see how you replace that. I mean, yeah, Kudus. I like Kudus, to be fair. But I'm just saying purely from a age profile, because I know Kudus is a few years older. From an age profile and the quality, I think Lamine Yamal is probably the only player you'd say, and obviously you're not getting Lamine Yamal. So I think the one player has to be Ahmad for me. Yeah.
So even if, let's say, just top of my head, PSG come with a bid of between 50 and 60 mil, you're still not interested.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
Because
you got to remember, Ahmad cost 40 mil. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you're talking 100 million, let's say,
yeah, you might
again, I would look at who can United target to replace Ahmad, really, because 100 million for Ahmad really ain't really that much, because if you're trying to buy two players of real quality, that's going to be more than 100 million. So, and then you're banking on a young player coming through and producing, which is going to be difficult, you know.
But isn't it scary that the fact that you can only come up with one player that's untouchable? Back in the day, mate, you wouldn't want to sell hardly any of our players, no matter the price. You'd say, no, I don't care how much you want for him, he's staying here. But now there's literally only one, and that's really sad, mate, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be honest with you, I would like to say Xerxes as well, to be honest. But the thing, Xerxes, because I do think Xerxes is good, but Xerxes not getting used enough. Because I look at Xerxes' profile, and again, this game is dying of strikers, especially with a profile like him. You know, he's more of a false nine. You know what I mean? And there ain't strikers like that in the game, and I can't think of no one that is close to Xerxes. Again, Xerxes only 23. You know, he's got his best years ahead of him for me, and I would say, yeah, I'll for me personally, Ahmad and Xerxes for sure, but I'm definitely Ahmad, because I think he's the most obvious one. Xerxes won't be obvious to many, but you go and find a striker of Xerxes' profile in the game, there ain't one. And again, this is because there's not too many great players or good players in the game no more.
Exactly.
You know? This is a problem.
One player that was good, maybe let's say 2 years ago, he was at his peak, Harry Kane. They're saying that Sir Jim would really love Harry Kane. Now, I personally don't believe that, because the Ineos transfer policy is to have players that are under the age of 26, no Galacticos, etc., etc. So I don't know if you've seen that rumor, but do you actually believe that, for one thing?
What, the Harry Kane rumor to back to United?
Yeah, that Sir Jim would actually like to sign him for United.
Nah, it's not. Listen, let me tell you now, yeah. That'll be the worst thing they could do. You know, Harry Kane, as everyone knows, Harry Kane's quality, but Harry Kane's not coming to United. That's just talk. Harry Kane's what? He's 30. His legs are starting to go. You know, Harry Kane should have been bought by Man United when Harry Kane was about 23.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't go and buy Harry Kane now when he's 30 and he's coming to the end, because his legs are gone. And even if Harry Kane was to come back to the Premiership, let's say he went back to, I don't know, Tottenham or whoever, the game's a lot different now. And Kane obviously would be playing more of a poacher if he wants to try and catch Alan Shearer's record, because he's not going to have the legs to get around the pitch. You know, at Bayern Munich, obviously Bayern dominate the ball 90% against most teams. So Kane really is having more chances to just put the ball in the back of the net. But if he was to come to the Premiership, especially at United don't dominate majority of the games. So he has to be doing more running. So it ain't going to work, you know. Especially with Amorim as well, who wants to play this pressing, man-for-man pressing game. That's not Harry Kane's game. So yeah, that's just speculation. Really, he ain't coming. He should have come when he was 23. And again, United missed the boat on him on that one. Yeah, and that's it, man. So yeah, it's tough times, man. That's what I would say. I personally don't know where United go from here now, because this season is going to be a struggle. No.
So that brings me into this sort of topic now, where, remember when we played Arsenal, obviously in the FA Cup, Delo did stupidness and got sent off. We played 60 minutes with 10 men.
Yeah.
Took it to penalties and won. Now, for me, that should have been a turning point. That should have been a turning point that the manager could point to and say, look what you did against the odds. If you can not concede against Arsenal at home, 10 men down for 60 minutes, you can do anything. So the fact that since then we have not really put a good run together, makes me concerned that Amorim isn't what I think he is. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't particularly want to say that, but to be honest with you, the proof's there, man. Yeah, the proof is there. Again, I'm me personally. I do think Amorim's a good coach, as I said, but I am concerned, and I'm going to be even more concerned come the end of the season because he can't bring no one in. So you're just relying now on no injuries and these players to hit some form. And again, there's a quality issue in this team. The quality is very low, and when you're getting beat when you're getting beat by the likes of Palace, the way they got beat, like I don't really expect too much now because they've still got to play Arsenal, you know, who are obviously trying to go for a league title. Even though I don't think, even though I know they're not going to win no league title, they've still got to play Liverpool. They've still got to play Chelsea again. You know, Nottingham Forest. I mean, Nottingham Forest. I mean, they're third in the league. United have still got to play these teams with the team they've got now. So again, I don't even know if there's no optimism with this team because the team is that bad, you know. And I keep saying it. How he let the 3 players go out and didn't really replace them. Well, didn't replace them at all. Is beyond me because he would have known this, and he still had to sign off on them players going at the door.
Yeah, that's
so he's now left the squad weak, and we're now going to have to be relying on youth players coming through now. You know, I heard someone the other day saying Mason Mount. I mean, again, this Mason Mount experiment needs to die as well. He needs to be sold. Again, how you sell him is going to be difficult.
Yes, it is.
You know, especially for immortalization as well. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Like this team is in problems, massive problems. You know, you're kind of hoping that Dorgu comes in and hits the ground running, you know, changes United's attack, changes their fortune. And then you're hoping some of the younger players kind of come in and do something. That's the only hope, really, because as it stands now, if he thinks he's going to play this same team of Garnacho, because I think the Kobe Manu one as well, he's not going to play Kobe Manu as a false 9 because of the backlash. Because again, and this is what I hate what managers do, when you like, he's basically wasted the sub because he tried to be smart by playing Kobe Manu as a false 9, and then had to change it anyway.
Yeah,
you know, and I hate when managers do that because it's like, everyone could see that Kobe shouldn't have been playing there in the first place. Yeah. So if he plays the likes of Garnacho, Bruno keeps playing week in, week out. He plays Ugarte at home against teams he should be dominating. Let's say he puts Højlund back in, you know, it's only going to end one way. I'm afraid, because, you know, with what he's got available, I wouldn't be playing those players. I'll have them players as impact subs, you know, if the game ain't going the right way, because they are impact sub players, let's be honest. So
I want to ask you, right? I want to ask you 2 questions. I want to know what side you would put out for the game against Leicester tomorrow, and then I want you to tell me what you think he'll do, and obviously if there's any difference between what you want and what he will actually put out. So, first of all, what would you put out there as the first 11?
For me, again, it's for me, it's quite a straightforward team. I think United should just give up on the on the league. I think United's aiming this league title in this league in the league now. As funny as it sounds, is to not get relegated. I think if United can get a trophy under their belt, and win Europa, it's going to be ideal. So based on that, I will play a strong team. So I'd go with Onana in goal. I'd go with three at the back of Lenny Yoro on the right side, Matthias de Ligt in the centre, and I'll start Aiden Heaven again, left-footed. I know it'll be his debut, but I will start them three, and then again as the wing backs, Patrick Dorgu for me would start on the left. I think Ahmad has to start on the right because there's no one else, and I don't want to see Dallo or Mazraoui playing because, as we said before, they're two guys that are fullbacks, you know what I mean, to be defensive. Midfield for me would be Ugarte, and I'd bring back Casemiro because this team needs leadership.
Yep,
for me. And again, two South American pit bulls in there. They can dovetail nice together, and they'll understand each other's game. And for me as well, they will provide a bit of a foundation in that midfield to be solid.
Yeah.
I know people will start saying about the legs, but at the end of the day, just don't do man-for-man pressing. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd play Ugarte and Casemiro in there. Then the two tens for me would be Kobe Manu from the left, Christian Eriksen, because Christian Eriksen brings control to the game. And again, he's good of set pieces.
Yeah,
he can create.
Bloody Bruno. Bruno's corners and free kicks are bloody atrocious, mate. And the fact that he gets priority over all of them is another kick in the teeth to Man United fans. Because, mate, I'm sick. And you got Harry Maguire on the pitch, yeah. If there's one thing that he's good at, is heading the ball, right? Bruno can't even get it. Corner past the first man, bruv.
Yeah. Listen, I've had my say on this guy. I'm bored of it now because, you know what I mean. Until a manager drops this guy, it's just wasted talk, really. He just keeps getting away with it, and again, the fact that he got a new contract, is just madness. But for me, Eriksen has to be playing that 10, and and Kobe, and obviously Joshua Zirkzee as a striker. Like, that's the team I'd go with, and that'll be the team I'd go with, for a few games to let it get a bit of continuity and confidence. Like, that for me, that's obvious, The team I think he's going to go with, I think he might play Bayinde, if I'm honest.
Because he's been playing in the cups, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's been playing in Europa. He played against Arsenal as well. So I think Bayinde will start. I think he's going to play a back three of De Ligt. The thing is, because Harry Maguire played obviously left side of a back three for England, But I don't think this manager likes Harry Maguire on the left or the right side of the back three, because I think he looks at his pace as being a problem, which is why he plays him in the centre. So I don't know if he's going to play Maguire left side of the three. So based on that, I think he's going to play Maguire, Lenny Yoro on the left, De Ligt on the right. I think he might do. That's what I think he's going to do. And then I think he's going to play Dallo and Mazraoui again because he's stubborn.
Yeah,
he's going to play. He's going to play. He'll either play Ugarte and Kobe Manu in the midfield. I mean, you got Collier there as well, but is he going to play Collier? I don't know. We all know that Manu can't play in the 2. He has to be playing as a 10. But again, this manager, he might just put him alongside Ugarte, and then he might play Garnacho, Bruno, and take your pick, Højlund or Zirkzee. I don't know. And that's the problem. But one thing's for sure, he's going to play Bruno. It's just whether he plays Bruno as a 10 or in in midfield.
I think he'll pair him with Ugarte again. He's done that so many times.
Yeah. So look, if you look at Bilal's team, he's more or less got the same team as me, except for Bayinde and Bayinde, Dallo and Bruno. Yeah. So he's got Bruno in there instead of Christian Eriksen. He's got Dallo in there instead of Lenny Yoro. And then Maguire instead of, who did I say it was? Who did I say Maguire instead of? So Bayinde, Mazraoui, Delit, Heaven. Oh, so Yoro's not there. Christian Eriksen. Is there someone else?
He's put Heaven in there, and you didn't say to put Heaven in.
Yeah. I said Heaven, left side centre back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because Dallo's in there, but I'm trying to think who did I have? Because I had Dorgu and Ahmad as the wing backs.
Yeah.
Oh, Casemiro.
Yeah, Casemiro.
Yeah. So he's got no Casemiro. No Casemiro, no Yoro, and no Eriksen.
I would definitely have Casemiro in there for all the reasons that you mentioned, but also for the fact that obviously he's very good at defending, but he's got that attack-mindedness as well. So Ugarte isn't probably never going to score for Man United unless it's something scrappy, right?
Yeah.
Casemiro is more of an attacking threat. So I don't mind Ugarte staying back, shielding defence, Casemiro wandering forward, getting on the end of a cross. Look, I've seen Casemiro first time cross it impeccably. People play down his passing. When he's got time, he can pass it with the best of them, mate. Yeah. He should have had quite a few assists this season. So I would definitely play Casemiro. I would play Xerxes. I would play just like Garnacho, like we said about Garnacho. I would play Højlund on the bench. Bring him on towards the end of the game when the defenders are tired. He doesn't have to do his stupid wrestling stuff. He can use his pace to get past them. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. It's ideal for him and Garnacho to be impact subs.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
The thing is, look at the skill set, and then you can just see that their skill set is for that role. You know what I mean? So,
do you think we win then? Do you think we beat Leicester?
Good question. I mean, I think we have to, if I'm honest, especially as it's at home. If it was away from home, I think it'd be tricky, especially with the form that the team's in. But I think at home, I think nothing less than United win. And I think the main thing as well, I think Leicester will be looking at survival.
True.
So, they might have a changed team, you would think. So I see today, actually, they've got a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old included in the squad. I see it on Sky Sports today. So you would think that they'll have a much changed squad. So I think United have to win the game. I mean, if he does the unthinkable and gets beat, again, he's going to be under massive pressure because everything will be obviously on the Europa. And we're just gonna have to just wait and see.
If, let's say, like you said, if the unspeakable happens and we lose, I don't want to be seeing all these channels go, "Oh, he's been let down by Ineos." No, we've got enough there to beat Leicester, regardless, right? Like you said, they need to stay up. They're probably going to rotate. What we've got there is good enough to beat them, so there's no excuse. The only excuse will be if he does stupid tactics, stupid lineup, stupid personnel. That's it. There's no excuse, mate. You know what I mean? Plus, we're at home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no excuse, man. I mean, even a team that Stephanie's put out as well. I mean, that front three for me, I do think it's a bit concerning, and that's because again, you've got inexperience, you've got shit, and you've got someone that and you've got someone that obviously hasn't been playing that position too much. You know what I mean? So and I think if that front three was to play, considering the form that the team are in, I think it could crush confidence. You know what I mean? So I think that front three is. I mean, yeah, they'll get the backing from the fan base, but I think that could be a problem if United don't start well. So, I mean, Obi Martin should be on the bench for me, you know, and then you bring him on.
I agree,
because I want to see Xerxes start. Xerxes has to start, you know. And again, Kobe Manu in the front three, I'm happy with. Garnacho, I don't want to see him again I want to see him as an impact sub. That midfield there of Dorgu, Ugarte, Collier, and Ahmad, I'm happy with it. You know, I think, yeah, I mean, I don't mind Casemiro, and personally, I'd like Casemiro there because of his winning mentality and his experience. But if he plays Collier, or if you play Ugarte, if you play Collier and Casemiro, I'm not too fussed. But and yeah, the back line and the midfield, I'm fine with. The front three, I'm not too sure. But you know, I'd expect United to win the game regardless. If I'm honest.
Do you?
And that's your target.
Do you? Right. Two questions. Do you see a situation where Amorim gets sacked before the summer? That's the first question. The second question is, would you sack him if results keep going like they are? Would you sack him? So will they, and would you sack him before the end of the season?
So will they sack him? I mean, it's difficult because again, we don't really know what obviously behind the scenes what is in place with Ineos and Amrim. You know, what are his targets? Yeah, so will they sack him? 50-50 for me. I'm not too sure, because if their target was win Europa League and he doesn't win Europa League,
yeah,
then obviously, yeah, he'll have to go. For me, he has to win the Europa League. That's a must. If he doesn't win Europa League and yet they're performing in the league how they are now, and they get knocked out of FA Cup, for me, I know he hasn't got his players, but he has to go, because that would be unacceptable. Because could you imagine United don't win Europa League, they get knocked out by Leicester in the FA Cup, and they finish what, 15th, 16th in the league? Like, you can't stay at Man United doing that. That's impossible. So I would definitely sack him if that was to happen, because again, I'm sacking him because he's made things harder on himself. You know, I understand he hasn't had these players and that, but there was players there that you could have used. And the fact that he hasn't been using, he keeps on using certain players. He's got no excuse from me, really, you know. But again, his aim has to be that Europa League. I think the Europa League is a must, because again, it's a route into the Champions League where you're getting money, and it will help to attract better players as well. So it's a must. They have to put all their eggs in that Europa League basket, but in the same sense, just keep afloat in the league, as mad as it sounds. But yeah, I think Ineos, if he was to get knocked out of the FA Cup, Europa, and do poor in the league, I can see Ineos pulling the plug. Yeah.
See, I'm not so sure, because I think when he's come in, they've had discussions. They said, look, we're probably going to have this amount to play with in January. We might be able to get you, a left back, but our main investment will be in the summer. And he'll say to them, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to get from Sporting, I'll be able to bring, let's say, Quenda, Gyökeres, right?
Yeah.
So I think they've had all these discussions. So I think that regardless, that he's safe this season. I do.
Sorry. Say again.
So I basically think that regardless of what happens this season, because he's come in halfway through the season, they've made plans for the summer. He said, I've spoken. Look, at the end of the day, mate, before he was coming to Man United, he would have spoken to sporting players and he would have said, look, when I get there, I want you at United.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's had conversations with Quenda, with Gyökeres. I want you at United when I go there. He's not allowed to buy them in January.
Yeah, but bro, sorry, man. What I'd ask you, sorry to cut you off here, but what I'd ask you, where is he getting this money from?
So
this is what I want to know. I don't know where this money's coming from, because if they couldn't do any deals in January, how is he going to get the money to? Because Quenda's going to cost about 50, 60 mil, and even if you want Gyökeres, he'll cost about the same amount. So how are you going to get them? Because I don't know who. I mean, they haven't really got any sellable assets. You know what I mean? Yeah, Garnacho, get rid of him. But is that going to allow you to get Quenda and Gyökeres?
Well, you remember I said to you about James Muppeteer's channel. He did a video yesterday about what money we'd have to spend in the summer, whether or not we're in Europe or whether we are, right? And some of the things that he was saying was, look, obviously, if Casemiro goes in the summer, you're talking about 300 odd grand a week off, you know, our expenditures. Eriksen goes, again, more money off the expenditures. Possibly Garnacho goes, like you said, 50, 60 mil. So all of these things together are probably going to be at least 100, I reckon. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, they've been able to go to Arsenal and grab one of their promising centre-backs from the academy for 1.5 mil.
Is that what he costs? 1.5 mil?
Yeah. And if he can contribute to our season, that's a bloody bargain, mate. You see what I'm saying? So obviously they're going to have to be clever. They're going to have to splash the money where they need to splash it, but where they need to sort of be clever, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to buy these unknown players. But yeah, I think there's money there, mate. I think there's money there. You got to remember that right now, all the negative channels are going to be saying, "Oh, we got no money to spend in the summer anyway." Oh, blah, blah, blah. They profit from being negative, bruv. They do, right? So as soon as we win a game, the next day, like I said to you, there'll be a headline. Oh, Ineos have done this cut on the ambassadors for Man United. So now Andy Cole, instead of getting whatever it is, he only gets this, and you make out like he's homeless on the street begging for money. The brother's got like, you know, he's been able to buy 5 houses to rent out, etc. Brian Robson gets Netflix documentaries made about him. These guys do not need the money, right? But anyway, negative stories about United make money for these channels. So they're going to say to you right now, we got no money in the summer. They don't have a fucking clue, but they're going to say that, because then people get wound up. They then send in super chats for money, say, oh, Glazer's out, Ineos out, empty Old Trafford. They prey on people's rage. Simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I'm honest with you, I think the Glazers and that are just laughing, because I think any bit of like criticism they get, I mean, they've been here for years, they're used to it, and you know, and these fans are easily pleased. I think, you know, so they're not fussed one bit, man. This fan base haven't done enough to try and get these Glazers out. If I'm honest, you know, there's been a lot of talk, but there's nothing really substantial that they've done, in my opinion. I know they've done all the protests and stuff like that, but yeah, if they were really serious about getting them out, man, it would have happened. Look at all the other clubs in different countries. You know, if they want someone out, man, they make it known. But yeah, no, I would say, because the thing is, I think there will be some money to spend, because I don't believe for 1 second Amorim come to this club and they've said to him, look, there's absolutely no money.
Of course, he wouldn't have come, would he?
Job. Yeah, I'm just saying, with Quenda and with Gyökeres, for instance, that's about 120 million, and I'm looking at the fact that they couldn't even get deals over in January. I just don't understand. I like, you know what I mean? We don't know what's really going on, because I come into January and I was expecting 3 to 4 signings in January. That's what I was expecting. They got 1, and it's like that's confusing, because it's confusing.
Like I said to you, bro, I've been a United fan for a long time, and January is an awful window, right? The only players that you get in January are ones who are having problems at their own clubs most of the time. Hence why Rashford's available in January, because there's a problem. Otherwise, that kind of player would only go in the summer. You see what I'm saying? The only reason he's available is because there's a problem and he wants to play. So he's gone in January. Felix, the same. Now, people want to sort of throw shade at Man United, right?
Yeah.
João Felix has signed a 7-year contract at Chelsea. For the second time, signed a contract at Chelsea, and now he's been put on loan to Milan. But they want to throw shade at United. Well, to me, Chelsea are a laughingstock for doing stuff like that. Because to me, it shows you got no plan. You're literally just buying players for the sake of it. You got nowhere to play them. And that's why I laugh when they say that they want Garnacho. What do you want him for? To make the tea in the changing room?
Yeah, I don't believe they want him. It don't make any sense to me.
No.
You know, I see links today actually with Luis Diaz. They want Luis Diaz.
Again, where's he going to play? You've got Enzo Fernandez and Calcedo. They play no matter what.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Obviously, Chelsea like stockpiling players, you know, making the profit. You know,
that's what it is.
I'd love United to be run the way Chelsea are. To be fair, because this club's in tatters, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but you say that, but you got to remember that a couple of years ago, Chelsea had a transfer ban. Imagine if we had a transfer ban. That would be in the newspaper day after day after day after day. And again, Man City spending 170 mil in a January transfer window under investigation for corruption charges, 115. Doesn't matter. They can do what they want. I'm telling you, man, it's one rule for others and it's one rule for United. Because we're the biggest team, everything that we do, whether it's, they spent fucking £5 less on toilet paper in the changing rooms at Old Trafford. Everything is news. Everything is news. And we've got to understand that people make money off taking the piss out of us. And we just got to be united. And that's what I've said about this channel. I'm here to unite people. I'm not here to divide people. And that's why I bring people like you on, because you're sensible, you're level-headed, you understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But I think we should wrap it up in a minute, Gav, because it's 10 minutes till the football starts.
Yeah, no worries, man, no worries.
I want to say thank you for coming on. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you, mate. I think the time goes real quick, and I do enjoy chatting to you, mate. So I do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I'll say, man, appreciate you for letting me come on. You know, big up the chat as well, man. Giving some good comments in there. Yeah, no, it's been good, man. As you said, man, time flies, man, when you're talking football. And obviously it's a bit unfortunate that we're talking about United negatively, but again, man, it is what it is, and all we can hope for is that the club kind of make efforts to kind of change the fortunes, man, because obviously this is a club I grew up watching, and the fact I see United in the bottom half, it doesn't make sense to me, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's mad, but yeah, man, again, man, safe for letting me come on, guys. Make sure you smash the like buttons as well. Subscribe to Elite Baller and subscribe to my channel at Gavgoesin. And give both of us some love, guys, man, because we're gonna be bringing you guys some good content. You know, two mad Man United fans as well, and yeah, there's more to come, man. So yeah,
that's it. I mean, what we'll do is we'll do it like this. We'll do like we've done now. You come on mine, then I'll come on yours, and we'll just keep doing it like that. And that way, we're helping each other. And you know, the reason I reached out to you is because I noticed that you're doing content every day, and that motivates me to do content. Because, like I said, I am sick and tired of all the channels on YouTube being so negative, mate. I'm sick and tired of it. I want to be able to bring content that is not bringing people down and wanting to like make them top themselves. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, 100, man, 100. I mean,
you know,
the thing is,
I know it's bad, but you know what I mean. It ain't that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, man. Yeah, it is a frustrating time at the moment, but you gotta, with anything in life, man, you gotta keep your head up, and especially with what's going on at United, you just gotta remain positive. You know, I think Ineos, you know, at the moment, you know, for me, definitely, when they came, and the stuff they were doing beforehand, I was heavily in favor of them. January, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of taken me back a bit because I didn't expect this window. But I'm not gonna say I'm Ineos out. I'm just gonna stick with it and just get through to the summer, because in the summer there's no excuses. They have to be making some serious deals, and I think that is that's the only way we can kind of judge them, man. Because if the summer comes and there's no significant signings, and again, man, we're gonna know our answer, and then this is when we're gonna start looking at them differently. But I think until then, we got to just persevere, man. And again, Ruben Amorim has to help himself. That's the main thing. So but we'll have to see what happens, man. But for sure, man, we'll definitely catch up again, man, and get this going, man. 100%.
Of course. Right, guys, so we're going to jet off now. Please make sure that you've subbed to Gav. His link is in the description. He makes daily content, so you'll always have something to watch. And we'll be back again. And what I'll do is next time I go on Gav's, I'll let you guys know so you can come over there. But obviously, if you sub to him and put the notifications on, like you should do with me, you'll always find out what we're going to do. So, big up to Dark Crow, Fred, Stephanie, Bilal. Scrolling up. Yeah, everyone who came in, I really appreciate it. We both appreciate your support. And
big up, guys. Big up.
That's it. We'll keep the content coming and just enjoy your evening, guys, and we'll speak to you soon. Peace.
Take care.